Hello, everybody, and welcome to another AIMBOT. I'm Molly Bankrupt or them. My name's Mark Reed, and I will be your guide through the situations and the pitfalls of moral judgment, but that will be consensual, solicited moral judgment on random strangers on the internet, because that's who posts, apparently. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. I do apologize. I've been away for a couple of days. Visited my father-in-law for Father's Day. It's not my father, but it was a good day. It was a really good day, and he's getting on, so it was really good to see him and my mother-in-law. Just because, yeah, it was really good, and sort of have a bit of a chill out kind of thing, because I have been a bit hard at it. But yeah, I see Stop the Stupidity. I see Left-Handed Jedi in there. So good to see you. I did get up though, and I didn't really have a rant prepared, but luckily Israel provided one. I'm just going to share my screen here. Yeah, this is a BBC thing. Israel's just gone and hit Qatar. Now, I have actually been to Qatar. I haven't visited there. I did a stopover kind of thing in their airport in Doha. So it really surprised me that they hit Qatar of all places, because Qatar is very modern, and it is. Oh, thank you, Jess. How to Rule an Asteroid, Jess. I miss you too. Yeah, absolutely. We should catch up sometime very soon. Um, yeah, but the explosion in so this was in Doha. I've been to Doha, and yes, it was just a stopover through the airport. But they're very modern, very progressive. As far as a sort of Middle Eastern country goes, a majority Muslim country goes, they're pretty progressive, and they're also an ally of the US. Um, it's like he said he immediately directed to inform Qatar, but it was made too late to stop it. Qatar says they didn't get advance warning, so someone somewhere is lying, and yes, correct, Left-Handed Jedi. Yes, they were the one that sent him that $400 million plane, correct. So, it kind of is a you can't pacify a bully by giving them what they want, right? Qatar gave Trump something, and I'm sure it was for some sort of protection against Israel aggression, and he still didn't stop it. And really, I mean, it's very strange, because he's not really saying it's bad. He's just saying, hey, we tried to warn them, and I didn't do it. Well, yeah, we know you didn't do it, but they're using your weapons. So I just want to show this. Uh, this is CCTV. Oof. Yeah, so that's a relatively neutral, peaceful place. Who were killed? So look at this. This is just silly. Like, the son of a chief negotiator. That's going to lead to great negotiations right there. Like, they were there negotiating peace. And can we just say, can we just say that Israel does not want peace? Well, when I say Israel, um, can we say that Netanyahu does not want peace? He's not interested in peace. He really does not want it to happen. Um, and he does not care about the hostages. Like, if you are bombing their negotiators on foreign soil, you don't care about those hostages. I just will say that. I will say that. He doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care to get them back. He really doesn't. It's just he wants this war to continue. There's no other explanation to doing this, is that he wants the war to continue, so he bombs a peace contingent coming out. I, mm. And the White House's response has been terrible. It's been, well, we didn't do it. Okay, maybe stop giving weapons to the people that did. Maybe, because they're using those weapons to do it. Anyway, yeah, so I didn't really thoroughly research. As I said, I've been away for the last couple of days. Hello, Jessica, the Transmetal Alchemist. Indiana Jones 3? What? The Last Crusade? Last Crusade? Last Crusade was good. Don't bother with the Crystal Skull. I will say that. Anyway, anywho, I will get up the link to join if anyone does want to, because this is technically an open room. But I will get into. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. I will get into um, the aimbot stuff early because I haven't really. Usually, I do some research. I look into these things. I do some nuanced takes. I got no nuanced takes, you know. Yeah, I don't know, Jess. I think it's because I honestly think it's because Netanyahu will be taken out and prosecuted. You know, if he isn't in wartime and can't do like, you know, preserve himself during war. So I don't know. I think it's just tragic because, you know, the Qatari people they're more or less neutral. They are very progressive as far as, like I said, they're progressive as far as a majority Muslim Middle Eastern country are concerned. They're pretty progressive. They're kind of not doing anything wrong. They just want peace in the region. It's you know it's really horrible. Does Israel have any friends left in the region? Did they ever have friends? I don't know. They sort of had neutral things. I think what's it? Uh, he also did an interview with Dr. Phil. Who did an interview? Who? Who did an interview with Dr. Phil? Oh, God, what? Where? I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. The Council of Jesses. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Nearly every Jess I know is pretty cool, to be honest with you. So, you know, I'm struggling to think of a Jess that I don't like. I really am. Uh, Benjamin Netanyahu did an interview with Dr. Phil. What? Oh, that was a year ago. Yeah, well, I mean, Dr. Phil, he's not like so. Dr. Phil is one of the worst things that Oprah has ever produced, quite frankly. He is absolutely horrible. He isn't a medical doctor. And what I mean by that, he's got a doctorate in philosophy, no, a psychology, which is still not like a medical doctor. It's a therapy kind of thing. I don't know. It's just Dr. Phil. Mm, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, the thumbnail is criminal. Okay. Yes, and I would describe him as the king of grifters. Absolutely. Dr. Phil is the king of grifters. And, you know, he's taken advantage of people. Um, sort of, so when you're talking about people trying to get therapy for their ailments and for their mental health issues, Dr. Phil, he does not prioritize his patients, and that is the problem, and they're not really his patients. So when they come on and start to talk to him about their problems, spreading those problems out throughout public sphere, there's a reason why privacy is so important in therapy. It's so that people can talk about this stuff and not have the spotlight shone on them and actually do some work on it. Um, what he's doing is just exploiting people with problems for profit, which is just horrendous. It's horrible. It's horrible to see. You know, he if he had a license to practice psychology, because I think he let it lapse ages ago. Like he's not doing therapy, right? Like he's doing entertainment. But the people that he's getting on to do entertainment are people with real problems who need therapy. And he sort of styles it as, oh, well, I'm helping with their problem. He isn't. He's got no interest in that. So I've got a very low opinion of Dr. Phil. Absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible. Anyway, what was I doing? I was inviting people and getting the thing on. Bloop. Link to join. Okay. Let me pin that. Can I pin that, please? Can please? Give me one sec. Sorry, I want to pin that. I do. Just relax. I want to pin that. That'll do. I do want to pin that comment. There you go. Okay, so because I don't really have anything to go on about, the jelly juice originator spills what? Yeah. I mean, he's got a tendency to do that as well. Yeah. Awareness and quasi therapy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, but I will get up the aimbot. Okay, so what are we doing? We're doing aimbot. Am I morally bankrupt or them? We're going on to Am I the Arsehole and doing some consensual solicited judgment of random things. Why is my there we go. I do not curate these. I do not select them. I do not um I do not select them in advance. I'm seeing these for the first time. I want to check that they're actually still up because a lot of them have been taken down, maybe because of bots and stuff. But or AI generated, but these seem good. These seem good. Yes, that's what I've heard as well, Kings Mason. That's what I've heard as well. Dr. Phil, his license expired ages ago. It's not like it was taken away for any mispractice, but he doesn't practice anymore, kind of thing. But that doesn't mean that your doctorate just expires. Maybe it should. Maybe it should. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I totally agree. And hello, Sarah Quell. You're looking lovely today. Um, and welcome to King's Mason. Amber, the worst. Yeah, I think you're talking about Trump there. Yeah, you're supposed to protect people that pay you protection money. Yeah, but I don't think he's a mobster. I think he's just a bully. You know what I mean? Like a bully will um, demand money from you and still bully you, right? Still do horrible things to you. So, there's a big difference between a mobster and a bully, just an outright bully. And I think Trump is just a bully. He just thinks, and that's, I think, something that I think it was Jon Stewart was saying, like giving the bully your money and acceding to his demands won't stop him. It'll just be more next time. Like if you think giving him your lunch money is going to stop him, it's not. You need to stand up to him because that's the only way that a bully will stop. It's the only way. Okay. But so good to see you all. Yeah, and Kings Mason. Yeah, no, I gotcha. And good to see you, Kings Mason. A lot of cool people in chat. Well, I don't like Phil. I think that A lot of the advice he gives are useful, but the spotlight he places on somebody who he's talking to can be vastly detrimental to him. And he should know that. He should absolutely know that. You know, um, I don't think that's the medium that's required for helping people, is to like have people sit around and judge them, you know. Um, and Left-Handed Jedi, member for 20 months. Message almost 2 years. What? Thank you so much, Left-Handed Jedi. That is awesome. Yeah, almost 2 years, mate. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Hi, Ryan. Good to see you. Very good to see you, Ryan. Welcome. We're just about to start because I was away the last couple of days, and honestly, I'm completely unprepared for today. Like, I'll just admit it. I probably should have done some more work and been more prepared, but I'm not. So that's the reality of the situation. So we're just gonna stop. Yeah. Donald Trump is relentless. Yeah, he's not going to stop unless you stand up to him. That's the only way. Okay, first up from Reference Next. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my ex-girlfriend's dog back after she abandoned it with me for a year? Wow, that's interesting. You know what? If you look after the dog for a year, you know, it comes down to ownership, right, and abandonment rules. But morally, I would say if she abandoned it, you know, did you agree to look after it? Did you take on responsibility? Did you have communication with her at all? This one's so nuanced. That was so nuanced. Well, Holly, they didn't really have reality TV at that point, you know. But I don't know. It certainly wasn't framed. I don't think he would have gotten as big as if it wasn't framed at, you know, therapy on the television, helping people kind of thing. But anyway, throwaway and fake names. How dare you? How dare you? You mean reference next is not your real name? How dare you? 29 male. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Hey, Robin. So good to see you. Hope you are well. So good to see you. 29 male broke up with my ex, Chloe, 28 female, about 14 months ago. It was messy. Nah, it happens. When she moved out, she asked if I could watch her dog, a senior Dachshund Frank, for a couple of weeks while she found a friendly pace. I agreed because I loved that dog. Weeks turned into months. Well, I mean, if she said, can you look after it? Yeah, I get a couple of weeks, but it's still her dog, right? So, weeks turned into months. For the first few months, she'd text to ask about him, but never came to visit or sent money or for food or vet bills. The text slowly stopped. Look, yeah. After 6 months, I texted her and said, hey, are you getting Frank soon? His food and care are expensive. She replied after a day, I'm still looking. Thanks so much for doing this. Yeah, well, I mean, if she's saying she's not taking him back yet and you've agreed to take him. At the 10th month mark, Frank had a big vet bill. I spent over 300-ish on him and I lost my job at the moment. I didn't even bother texting her. Well, you probably should have. She hadn't reached out in 4 months. I paid for it, and I officially considered him my dog. Look. No. Yeah. You can't just pay for something. You know, I get that. Hey, you might have a case that she owes you the money for the vet bills and things like that. But like, you can't just go, well, are you coming to get him? And that's all? No. Like, this is the thing. When you agree to take a pet, you have to go, well, yeah, I can take care of your pet, but you've got to pay for this, that, and the other. You know, like, you can't just go, oh, yeah, I'll take care of your dog. You are basically getting into an agreement that you're going to pay the expenses of the dog. However, yeah, I get that sheep should probably pay the vet bill. Like, dude, you need to pay that vet bill. But does that mean the dog becomes yours? No, there's no agreement for that. That's the thing. Like, stop being such an absolute, you have to say, hey, I cannot take care of this dog for any more than 6 months. If it is above 6 months, then I have to find some other location for the dog, or you have to find a location. If that doesn't happen, the dog's got to go to wherever dogs are not, like, you can't just say, hey, this is your dog, you own him, he is your dog, I'm just going to take him because I feel you need to pay for vet bills. She may owe you money for that. Just claiming a family member, you can't do that. You can't do that. Last week, out of the blue, Chloe shows up at my door. She's got a new job, new apartment, new boyfriend. She said, I'm here for Frank. Thanks for watching him. I told her no. I said she abandoned him. I've been his... Well, she didn't really. She still contacted you. You didn't even bother texting her. You should have texted her and said, hey, it was a big bill. You've got to pay this. I told her no. I said she abandoned him. I've been his sole caretaker for over a year. I paid for the bills and food. She got hysterical, calling me a thief. She said it was her emotional support animal during our relationship and she needs him back. Well, I mean, why? Okay, this is weird. She was an it was an emotional support animal, but she's been without him for a year is weird. Okay, that's just strange. She offered to pay me back for the surgery in installments. Then yeah, she may owe you for the surgery, but you can't just claim them. I told her to get lost and shut the door. Now she's blowing up my phone and her new boyfriend is sending me threatening messages. Well, yeah, that's a cause of concern. My friends are split. Some say I've saved the dog and he's mine. That's not how that works, right? That's not... He's a family member of somebody. You can't just say, hey, I saved your child, now it's mine. No. Others say I'm being a bitter ex and stealing her property out of spite and that I should have given her a chance to pay me back. Yes, the second one. Kind of. I don't think it's out of spite. I think that you are... Look, I've taken care of a dog for a long period of time, months and months, and I had doubts about the owner's capacity to take care of their pet. Right, but you can't just claim it. Can't just claim it. Yeah, wow. Like, I get that you've grown attached to the dog, but like, it's her dog. It's her dog. Like, if you think that she's mistreated the dog, which it's been with you, so that would be probably hard to do. But if you think she's mistreating the dog, you can't just take someone's dog and then say, well, because you haven't paid me for its care, I'm taking the dog. No, you would get, like, if she's offered to pay you back for that surgery and the expenses, which you really should have agreed on up front, right? You absolutely should have agreed on up front. It's her dog. Wow. But you know what? I'm going to say that everyone sucks. Everybody sucks in this situation. Like, everyone sucks. I will say that. All right, let's get the poll up. Poll for the people at home. Yeah, I mean, I took care of a dog for a pretty long period of time. The owner didn't know stuff about it. Like, it was really, I don't know how to put it. It was really disturbing how little they knew about their own dog. I'll tell you that right now. But, at no point would I have said, well, I like the dog now, that's my dog. I did like the dog. It was a good girl, but it's not my dog. You've got to understand that. It's like if you take care of someone's kids for a year while they have something on, yeah, you've taken care of them. It's not your kids. Like, seriously, it's not your family member. Just accept that. Was the poster right for refusing to return dog? Doggo. Oh, hey, Martino. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, quite frankly. I'm inclined to agree. I mean, for number one, obviously not returning someone's dog is kind of an asshole move. Just out of hand. Number two, the girl, like, seriously, who like doesn't see their dog for a year? Like, seriously. That poor dog. You know what? Everyone sucks except the dog. The dog's fine. Like, the dog's doing what it should do. You know what? How can we have a situation with two people and a doggo, and the most morally correct person is the freaking dog? Like, seriously, seriously. Oh, dang, dang. Yeah, no, the best person in this is the dog, quite frankly. Does the animal recognize the original owner? I have no idea. I have no idea. Um, Dogs rarely forget their owner's smell. I have no idea though. Okay, let's see what the people have to say. The Redditors say, not the asshole. You have recent vet bills in your name, so legally the dog is yours. Okay, well, I'm not, like, for number one, we're not really talking about legally. We're talking about morally, and it may be legal to do certain things. It might be legal to, like, get tax breaks and stuff. That doesn't mean it's moral. We've got to separate the two. If he has a microchip, get it registered in your name ASAP. If Frank was really her emotional support dog, she never would have left him with you. Yeah, I don't know about that. I can't really second guess. Um, Yeah, I still think you can't take someone's dog. Like, seriously. Um, if Frank was really her emotional support dog, she never would have left them with you. This. Yeah, I don't know about that. I find it weird, yes. You are not the asshole. I actually did something similar with a relative who abandoned a dog with us and asked her to have her back a year and a half later. This is your dog now. Do not take her calls. Okay. She has not even checked in on the dog in how long? Not so much as a text or a surprise shipment of treats from Amazon. She abandoned him as your... Okay, so the Redditors are fully on board. If you don't see your dog for a while, you become the owner of the dog. She isn't going to police or filing report because she knows she has no leg to stand on. I don't know about that. I mean, I believe, you could take it through the courts, but, you know, she would probably have to pay you for all of the expenses. Um, I just, you can't really just say, hey, I'm going to eat the expenses in return for a dog. No visiting, no checking in on the dog, no sending money to pay for the dog's basic needs and medical care. You're absolutely correct in the fact that she abandoned the dog. The law in most places would agree. Yeah, thanks, lawyer on internet. Would agree that amount of time as well. Make sure you keep copies of the vet care in your name. You still have receipts of food and other necessities spent on him and back up in case he tries to escalate this. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Judge Judy would tell her to piss off. He's yours now. What would Judge Judy do? Yes, that's always what I think. That Judge Judy is the epitome of moral standing. Yes, Judge Judy. Okay, what have the people got to say? What's Chak got to say? Glad to help the community. Well, glad to have you in the community, my friend. Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? Dr. Phil would have returned the dog. Just saying. Dr. Phil would have seen to the dog's needs. Just imagine Dr. Phil interviewing the dog. And how do you feel about this grievous argument over your ownership? How is a hound? How is a hound that you feel you've been treated by your owner? I can't do Dr. Phil. I'm trying to give it that southern. He's got a kind of southerny twang. How does a hound feel about these people fighting over You're a collar. How does that feel? Doctor a dog. You saw it first on Mark Reed Atheism. Okay. Oh yeah, no, that's further back. Oh no, further back. Nathaniel, no, you took care of them. Okay. So if you take care of a dog, it becomes your dog. I would that work on a dog, but would that work on a child? Like if you took care of a child, does it become your child? Right? I kind of see them in the same bracket. It's still like, do you inherit custody of a family member if you are taking care of them? And I don't think that if that doesn't work with a child, then it probably doesn't work with a dog either, right? I'm just saying, okay? Mind you, like, if you take care of a dog, like every year is 7 dog years. So he basically took care of that dog for 7 years of its life. Like, you know, that is a factor. Sure. Kings Mason says, ask the dog. Dog like the... Our hound, who would you like to stay with should things be optimal, hound? Would you like to stay with the girlfriend? Or would you like to stay with the man who's been taking care of you for 10 years? And Jess, the Transmetal Alchemist, says we need to check the story to see if abandoned is the correct word. It's hard to say, right? Because, you know, as one of the Redditors did point out correctly, the person wasn't contacting them to see if the dog is okay. He's doing all the contacting. That's if this report is to be believed. So I kind of think sort of, yeah, it sort of is. But the problem, the real problem is, whoever this poster is, they did not specify any kind of terms, any kind of boundaries, any kind of conditions, or make that clear. Like, if you are going, well, this is expensive, I agreed to take care of this dog for weeks, it's been ages, you need to tell that to the person and say, look, this was supposed to be weeks, you need to come pick them up. That is what needs to happen, or I'll have to do something else with the dog, like send them to a shelter, or, you know, send them somewhere where like, you can't just go, oh, when are you coming to pick it up? Oh, that's okay then. You know, like, come on. You can't just leave it open-ended like that. You've got to be firm with people of what boundaries that you have. Kings Mason says vet and food are serious commitments. Absolutely. And the owner of the dog should be paying for that. I granted, like the owner. But you can't just go, well, I'll pay for it and then keep the dog, right? That's not some agreement that's been made. What you should do is say, hey, call them up and say, hey, you need to cover the food from this point going forward, or I can't keep the dog on your behalf. You can't just enter people into agreements that they haven't agreed to. And yes, the ex-girlfriend is being a complete dick. Granted, yes. But you still can't go, oh, well, because you're being a complete dick, I'm going to take your family member for myself. Look, I think that the ex-girlfriend is being a lot worse than the poster, okay? I will say it here. They're being a bigger dick, quite frankly, because, you know, for you to have a family member that you don't check in on or try to help or see for that amount of time, I'm sorry that you're being a complete dick. Like, seriously, that's terrible. But King Mason goes on to agree. Notice should have been given without assumption. Yes, correct. At what point is it abandonment? That's a good point. You know, like, if you're still in contact with that person, is that still abandonment? I'm not sure. Jessica says, so far it hasn't risen to the level of abandoned. It's hard to say. It is hard to say. Do we have a definition on abandonment? Abandonment definition. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I'll say that now. This is not legal advice. Um, legal definition of abandonment. I didn't know I'd be doing this morning. Legal definition of abandonment. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll just go by the AI notice, okay? I'll just go by the AI. Let's assume that the AI knows what it's talking about. Dangerous, I know. Key characteristics. Intent to relinquish. The party must intend to give up their right, claim, or interest. No intention to reclaim. The abandonment must be without any intention of ever taking it back or resuming it. Right. So, that is key characteristics apparently. Contract law, child abandonment. We don't have one for pet abandonment, but we do have one for child. So it can be a fur baby abandonment here. A parent or guardian deserts a child with no intention to care for them, resulting in the child being in need of protection. I kind of think that is abandonment then. I do think that maybe is. Wow, this is going to get complicated. Get a restraining order, says Left-Handed Jedi. Yeah, for those threats, absolutely. If they're physically threatening. Like, it depends what the threats are, right? It depends what the threats are, because he just said they'd been sending threatening text. If the threatening text is, hey, we're going to have to take this to the authorities or to court if you don't give them back, which people have been to court for ownership of dogs before. Hell, it happens all the time in divorces. You know, people like their pets more than they like their spouse. They divorce. They have to sort out who gets ownership, you know. It's, you know, that's what the courts are for. Threatening messages. So if he's you know, sending messages like, send me your dog or else I'm going to bash your head in, yeah, that's a problem, right? That's a real problem. Go to the police. But if he's sending you stuff like, if you don't give the dog back, I'm going to have to be forced to take it to court, that's not a threatening message that you would be able to do that for, because that he's perfectly well within his rights of doing that, presumably. I mean, I don't know why it's not the girlfriend saying it, but, you know, I think that, look, everybody on here, Holly, is horrible communicators. Like, I think that when you actually sit down and talk to people, you can come to an understanding that doesn't necessitate you going on to, am I the asshole, to say, hey, I stole somebody's fur baby, am I the asshole? I think that if they were good at communicating, they wouldn't be on here. And yeah, you're absolutely right, though. So many of these is just failures to communicate. Abandonment requires an emotional disconnection. She evidently never stopped caring about them. Well, yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, I mean, it depends whether you're talking legally or whether you're talking abandonment in just a colloquial sense. I think you're right for colloquial. I don't think it rises to it may rise to the level legally, but, you know, if you've ever watched like something like Legal Eagle, he'll just say it's complicated is the usual situation. Kings Mason said, one day I had a perfect dog jump in my truck. I brought it home, it followed my commands without a leash for 3 days. Someone saw it in my truck and claimed that it wanted to stay with me. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but, you know, that's the way of it. Turned out there was a new baby in that house and the dog was jumping the fence. I let it go back, but it was tough. Yeah, no, I can imagine it was tough, you know, and you have those cases of somebody fosters a child and the situation isn't great, and then the courts allow them to take the child back, and it is rough on everybody. It really is. But, you know, we really have to allow the owners or the parents to go back with their kids or their pets. It sucks, I know, but, you know, that's the way it is. Martino Berto, everyone's the arsehole. Yeah, that's what I think as well, but that's okay. I mean, people can disagree. That's okay. Does the owner... Oh, yeah. Yeah, dogs are actually really good at remembering what original owners smelled like. Like, they're actually really, really good. their sight isn't that great, but smell is just incredible. They can smell people they haven't seen in years and years and years. And there was something I was watching. I'm not certain of how accurate this is, but there is at least a hypothesis they can smell familial relations between people. Like they'll be able to smell a baby's related to its mother, kind of thing. Like really weird stuff. Dogs and smells are wild. I would love to have a sense of smell like a dog sometimes. You know. Jessica says, heaven knows there are plenty of assholes in the world who see pets as fashion items and will throw them away at the first inconvenience. Absolutely. Yeah, I really hate the entire idea of those handbag dogs kind of thing. It's just, breeding dogs to be smaller and to fit, aesthetic purposes seems really, really, really bad. They have all kinds of health issues. They have all kinds of problems. It seems really, really horrible to me. But do they love their pets? Are they just fashion items, or do they really love them? I don't know. The dog rules. Yeah, the dog is perfect in this situation. Dog is a good boy. Yeah, absolutely. The best boy. Who's a good boy? Dog is the best boy. Dog remembers friends. Yeah, and they do so by smell, which is they remember the smell of their friends. So I've seen before, like dogs you see them really uncertain about people, and you should let them smell you. Because it's like they'll sort of be really uncertain, and like then they'll smell somebody and go, oh, I remember this person, because they're not like, we are so sight orientated that we sort of go, oh, I remember that person by how they look. Dogs aren't like that. They're really using their sense of smell, which is wild. It's so interesting. Jessica says you should have tried to organize weekend visits or something. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I get that you don't want to go back to see your ex, but I think if I had a new girlfriend that said, "Hey, I've got to go back and see my ex because he's taking care of my dog," I would totally understand, right? No, fair enough. You've got to go back to see your dog. I would want to meet the dog as well. Can I meet the dog? I mean, you're not a dog person? Well, neither am I, Jedi, but I have had a, family dog in the past. It wasn't my dog. It was sort of, the family's dog. It was more my mum's dog, really. And, I think that dogs are okay. I think they're cool. I really do. But I prefer cats. But I don't mind dogs at all. I don't. Jessica says, registering someone else's pet in your name without the other person's permission is kidnapping. Yeah, that might be the case. I don't know for sure, but I think you might be right. Like if you just have someone's dog who they were, someone bought or somebody raised, and you're an ex of theirs and you just register it in your name, that may very well be. I don't know, but you could be correct. Stop the stupidity. And good to see you, STS. Really good to see you. I don't think I said hello to you. And I don't think I said hello to Majestic Beck either. So good to see you as well. Morally, it's shitty, but legally he can claim it as his. Right. And really we're looking at the moral distinction, STS. Like, really, what should we do morally? I think that, to me, the ideal thing to do would be, if he loves the dog as well, you should, basically keep in touch and he can visit the dog and stuff. But you can't, I don't know. But like, this is the thing, like people confuse moral and legal stuff, right? It was like, I did a debate against Andrew Wilson, who was a nightmare of a person. He is an awful person who has the worst takes on absolutely everything. And the idea that, because he was sort of saying, hey, if something is moral, it should be illegal. And that's not the case, right? It's like saying that, hey, it might be immoral to swear in front of children, but we're not going to make it illegal, right? We're not going to go, okay, well, I'm going to arrest you and put you in prison for that. Or it might be immoral to belong to two religions at the same time, right? But we're not going to make it illegal, like an arrestable offense. There's a lot of things that are immoral, but we don't make it illegal because it does not rise to the level of illegality. So moral and legal are absolutely, they're different distinctions, which I wish that some of these, fundamentalist, hardcore Christians and Muslims and stuff would understand. Because if I don't say hello to you in the morning after you've said hello, right? I'm at work. You're I'm really cranky. Haven't had my coffee. You go, "Hi, Mark. How you doing?" And I go, that's probably immoral, right? Like, I ought to say hello back, but it's not illegal, right? We shouldn't make it illegal. It's not something that we should do. So morals inform legality. They're not the same thing. She doesn't have a paw to stand on. Yeah. Oh yeah, King's Mason. That's true. Always only one side. So we've got to take it just as they've given it. Like it could be incredibly nuanced. And that's even if the person putting up the post is telling the truth. Because one thing you've got to remember is when there's two sides to every story, nobody gives their side unfavorably. Nobody says, "Oh, she asked me to do this and, I agreed." And, it's always going to be from the person's perspective. And that's okay. That's okay. Majestic Back. STS. Oh, but you're not Judge Judy and Executioner. That was a Hot Fuzz quote. Yeah, that was our Nick Frost character, I believe. He's acting as Judge, Jury, and Executioner, but he's not Judge, Judy, and Executioner. The puppies are yours. I don't recall where it said that he got the dog laid. I don't know. Should dogs be neutered? That's another question that I sort of have mixed feelings on. I think it is pretty horrible to do, but at the same time, it might be necessary because of, dogs getting out of control. Judge Judy would say, "Why don't you tell the owner of the dog you are fostering needed a vet ASAP?" Yeah, that's a good question. I get in an emergency, like you might take it to the vet and then say, "Hey, they need to be taken to the vet," bill them afterwards. I know when I was taking care of the dog that I was taking care of, it needed a vet, and I called them up and said so. Like, it needs a vet. Like, they could just sever their parental rights. No, that's true. The dog will demonstrate its preference, was my point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would they do that in court? Have both people stand there and go, "Oh, both of you call the dog," and see who it goes to? I have no idea. If ever that happens to you, just keep a few treats in your pocket. It will smell them and come to you. I'm just saying. Sounds like your child. Oh, Beck, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. Holly said, "If you left the child with someone for a few weeks and then had a sporadic and lessening communication, you'd have a harder time regaining custody." Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that if you are arguing over custody and go to court, they definitely would take into account that she hadn't visited the dog. But I don't know which way they'd come down. What I'm sort of saying is what he should have done in order to not be the asshole is further, go earlier. Look, if you can't pick up the dog or cover at the expenses, I will take custody of the dog. Like, make it very clear what the terms of the agreement are. Animals aren't property, correct? You are morally and legally obliged to look after your animal. If you leave an inanimate property on the side of the road, you've abandoned it. Yes, correct, Jess, correct. Totally. But what she had done is organize someone to care for it. So she didn't abandon it as in leave it and not come to some sort of agreement on how it was being cared for. Yes, that extended, but she still knew that someone was caring for it. So I don't think that rises to the level of abandonment. I don't think that's the case, because she didn't leave it on the side of the road. She left it with someone with the understanding that they're caring for it, which I get is a real dick thing to do, and then extend it for, months and then a year. That is a real terrible thing to do. Granted, yes, absolutely. But, you know, I don't think it rises to abandonment because she knew there was someone caring for it. Still a complete arsehole though, like seriously. Did she call once to see how the dog was? I might have missed that. Not according to the the person caring for it. Should text to ask about him. So she would text to ask about him. She never came to visit or sent money for food or vet bills. The text slowly stopped. Okay. So she did, and then it slowly stopped. She'd probably met someone or something. Left-handed Joe says, there's no agreement in most places. The original owner is still considered the legal owner unless they explicitly transfer ownership, such as a written statement, says ChatGPT. Yeah, well, I mean, ChatGPT is okay. Oh, Big Bad Mama, good to see you. Marcus is Janine Perot of YouTube. That is actually insulting. I'm not that drunk, sir. I am not that drunk. How dare you? How dare you? I am not that drunk. That woman needs to cut down on her red wine, quite frankly. Needs to cut down. What up, peeps? Says Skeptic Philosophy. How you doing, my friend? We're discussing, we're doing AIMBOT today. Good to see you. Yeah, Janine Perot, I don't have a high opinion of that woman, like, really. I don't think she would... You know, I feel like Janine Perot is... so if you don't know, Janine Perot is a person that used to be... She used to be a judge, so she does have a legal background. She took up a place on Fox News, which is just, like... She's just basically... panders to the right-wing Fox News. Like, I don't think she'd find, you know, she's not a judge anymore. And quite wisely, I think Trump was going to offer her the Department of Justice head, but she sort of didn't want it. Wisely so, because, you know, I think Judge Janine Perot likes saying stuff without being held accountable. And if she had a law license and she started saying some of the stuff that she's saying, the bar would not like her. Would not like her. Poor Muttalini. Who's your daddy? Yeah, no, I got you. You hate toy dog breeding, Majestic Beck? Yeah, same here, mate. Same here, yeah. Left-handed Jedi said, I heard they are seeing if dogs can smell cancer cells in humans. Yes, I've heard that as well. Martino says they should put the dog in the middle of the room and let him choose. Yeah, I mean, that would be one way to solve it, right? I mean, it's an all or nothing strategy, but you could just say, hey, let's put the dog in the middle of the room, stand on either side of the room, both call the dog, see who the dog goes to for. That would be the cheaper way to settle it, you know, without lawyers and you know, a lot of expense. If it was a baby goat, then it would be kidnapping. That's awesome. I do love a pun. 7 hours. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I did that. You know what? I think I have within myself, Jess. I every time there is a bully, I feel the need to stand up to them, right? To call their bluff, to say, hey, you're not going to be able to just bully like this. You know, like I really feel the need to stand up and say, do your freaking worst, right? I really do believe that the only way to get bullies to stop what they're doing is to stand against them. And so every time there's some complete cockhead like Wilson or Jim Bob going around being arseholes to people, I feel the need to confront them and say no. So maybe that's a personal failing. It probably is. You know, I probably should just ignore them, but I feel like I want to do that a lot. COVID wrecked a lot of catch and release programs. There are still feral cat colonies popping up. Yeah, and it's a problem. How drunk are you then? On power, Ember? Drunk on power? I do have a band hammer and I'm not afraid to use it. I do. Um, Alfalfa got killed on a lost hunting over a lost hunting dog. Isn't who the hell is Alfalfa? Is that like one of the like a children's thing? Look, dogs can be really dangerous. There was okay. So the query quite likely refers to the death of Carl Switzer, the actor who played the character Alfalfa in The Little Rascals, who was shot and killed in 1959 after a dispute with a man over a lost hunting dog he was training. Switzer had paid a reward for the dog's return and felt that the dog's owner, Moses Stilts, should reimburse him the $50. Why? Switzer has paid a reward for the dog's return. What the hell? Switzer had been training a hunting dog for Moses Stitz. Okay. When the dog went missing, Switzer paid a reward to the person who found it. He then confronted Stilts to get the $50 he had spent back. What? That doesn't make sense. You've been training a hunting dog for somebody. The dog went missing, so you lost the dog. You paid a reward to find it, and then you go to the owner and say, hey, you pay for the dog I lost to get it back? That doesn't make sense. Oceanus Helios. Hola. Hola, ¿cómo está? That's the only Spanish I know. Hola, ¿cómo está is the only Spanish I know. I'm so sorry. I don't have a lot of Spanish-speaking countries near me. Then again, I don't have any countries near me, so... I grew up with a puppy mill in a puppy mill family. It was horrifying. Yeah, those are wild, absolutely wild. Liked and subbed. Oh, thank you so much. We're growing steadily. We're growing steadily. I probably should do more work. A special grass for bunnies to eat? Who knew? Who knew? Yeah, Oceanus says, yes, the actor played going to fight over a dog and murdered. Yeah, and you know, over $50. Really? Like, seriously, I mean, if I was training somebody's dog and I lost the dog and then I paid, you know, a reward to get it back, I wouldn't be asking the owner of the dog for that. Like, I was the one that lost it. That seems really weird to me. Yeah, over $50. Is the topic dogs? Apparently so. It is now. I'm not sure that it was when I started. It was how bad is Netanyahu and poor Qatar. But now it just seems to be dogs, which is a much better topic. I will say that. Oh, look, Oceanus. Yeah, no, I got you. Instantly being rounded up here, I prefer to antagonize. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't understand why people like get upset about somebody speaking a foreign language in their country. It's like, you know, I've been to Japan. I wasn't speaking Japanese. I've been to Netherlands. I wasn't speaking Dutch. You know, I don't know why we expect everybody in the freaking world to speak English. Incidentally, we did try to have an international language. It was called Esperanto, and it was based upon English and Spanish kind of thing, mostly Spanish. And it was a good attempt. No one learnt it. I didn't learn it. I think it's a good idea, but I didn't learn it. So I can't hassle anybody, but they did try to have an international common language between people. How cool is that? I didn't know that. I learnt about that in Red Dwarf, of all things, which was a English sci-fi series, comedy series kind of thing. Wild, right? Esperanto, common language of all people. Did not learn it. Did not learn it. Okay, how'd the poll go? Everyone sucks. Yeah, I'm on board. I'm 100% on board. 100% on board. Ooh. Bam. Muy bueno. Indeed. Yeah, I think that, I mean, over the years there's been different sort of trading languages, you know, sort of Roman Latin used to be the training languages kind of thing, and then Greek was one of the trading languages. But it seems to be sort of English now is sort of the trading language of the world. I'm not sure how I feel about that. English as a language is terrible. It's bad. It's got all of these silly rules and these stupid things, and it just is. It's a bad language. It's a beautiful language. It's hard. It makes no sense. I mean, look at some of the rules of English. I before E, except after C, except when the sound is A, and there are exceptions. Like that's not well thought out. That's not good. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Let's see. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, I'll upvote that. Poor Frank. Frank is the winner in that entire situation. That is an ad. Ignore that. Anonymous meow. Now I'll just go in and make sure it hasn't been taken down. Okay, it's fur babies all day today. All right, everybody, that's it. Left-handed Jedi for $5. Fun fact: William Shatner of Star Trek fame did a movie entirely in Esperanto called The Succus. Is it succubus? Yeah, no, it's succubus. Okay, gotcha. I just about to say succus. I'm not really. Really? Does William Shatner speak Esperanto after 50 years? No. By his own account of being in the film, he didn't speak Esperanto then either. Okay. No. He and the other actors learned their lines phonetically, oh god, resulting in poor pronunciation that was criticized by actual Esperanto speakers. The director chose Esperanto for the otherworldly effect, but without any Esperanto speakers on set, the actors struggled to deliver the lines convincingly. Oh dear. Oh dear. The unnatural sound of the language. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. Wow, so he basically exploited the fact that nobody knew Esperanto to basically like make it sound like a otherworldly evil language. That's kind of terrible. Does Google translate English to Esperanto? Oh, it does. Okay. Left-handed Jedi is a Chad. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is left-handed Jedi is a Chad. There we go. Maldextrama Jado estas Chado. Yeah, it kind of just looks like Spanish, but apparently it's Esperanto. Is Spanish different? Is Spanish different? Where's Spanish? Give me 1 second. Spanish. Oh, yeah, it was unchad. Yes, got you. Yeah. Gotcha. Possibly. I mean, I don't know how many people in the US speak Spanish. I'm not 100% sure, Jess. Because like the reason why French is because of Quebec. There's one section that entirely speaks French. Yeah, but thanks, Jed. I appreciate it, my friend. I really do. That's awesome. I did not know that. But apparently he did not really speak Esperanto, but rather he phonetically pronounced it out and it sounded terrible, which kind of tracks with everything that William Shatner does. Okay, am I the asshole for adopting a kitten and refusing to give her back to her previous owner? What the hell? What is with all this pet kidnapping? It's pet napping all the way down. For adopting a kitten and refusing to give her back to her previous owner. Well, as long as she knew you're adopting the kitten, then no, you're not. Like, let's face it. Don't. Look, Jess knows full well that Quebecians are French people, basically. Don't look. She knows that she's from the Great White North. She's just poking fun because we can do that. German almost became yeah. That's wild. That's wild. Anonymous meow. I, 21 female, went to an animal shelter about 2 weeks ago and fell in love with this gorgeous 6-month-old kitten, who was so friendly and needed a home. I asked the team about her history to find out why she was here, and they said she was found on the road abandoned and bitten by a dog. I immediately filled in the adoption paperwork for this kitty, but she was still healing, so I couldn't take her home straight away. On Saturday, she was finally spayed, microchipped, and ready to come to a new home, which she has slotted into perfectly. So tonight I received a call and a message from an unknown number that says she is the owner of my kitten and she wants her back. She said she saw a post on Facebook that I adopted her kitten and tracked me down on Instagram to find my phone number on my business's account. She explained that she moved out of her parents' house where the kitten lived and that she had to wait for a new landlord to tell her if she can have her kitten or not. She said the kitten kept trying to find her, and one morning the kitten went outside to find her, presumably, and wasn't seen again. She asked me if she can have her kitten back. She even paid for her because she'd been looking for her for a month and sent me photos to prove it's hers. I told her that I adopted her from an animal shelter where she was recovering from a dog bite and kept in a cage, and that I'm not interested in giving her back. Am I the asshole? No. I don't think that she is. I don't think that this person is. I mean, she adopted the kitten. The kitten is now used to... Like, I don't think so. Like, do you have any... Like, sent you photos to prove it's hers? What, of a kitten? I don't know. Like, if she'd lost her kitten, why didn't she check with the animal shelters? You know the horrible part of all of this? You know the absolutely awful part of all of this? It's that if nobody had adopted her, they probably would have had to put her down. That's the most awful part of all of this. It's horrible. Right? Like, you've lost your kitten and you don't even bother to ring round animal shelters and say, hey, I've lost a... Like, the animal shelter would love to get you your kitten back. That is wild. And, you know, like, can I just also point out the incredible lack of responsibility to lose an unspayed, unchipped kitten and just not even call to see whether anyone's found it in the shelters? Like, seriously? Oof. No, I don't think you are. I mean, you've legally adopted it. You know, wow. I am flabbergasted that this owner would lose a kitten and not even call shelters. You know, because they do talk among themselves. So if you call a few saying, hey, I'm looking for this kitten, send them a picture, they will send it round for you. They like owners to find their pets. It's a good day when an owner finds their pet. You know what's a bad day? When no one claims the animals, the shelter can't keep them because they're overflowing, and you've got to put them down. That's a bad day for them. They're more than happy to try and help you find your pets. My God, what the hell? What is this person doing? But yeah, I don't think so. I think that they're completely fine morally to say, hey, I've picked this up from a shelter. I've done all this stuff for it. It's now settled in. It is a kitten. That was abandoned, like, seriously. Wow. Okay. Legally, they're definitely fine. I think morally they're fine as well. Wow, okay. Recovering from a dog bite. Dang. I don't know. If that was my kitten, well, for a start, you know, cats wander off, right? They wander off for a few days, they come back. Like that does happen. You know, it's why you should have a bell on them. I don't believe in locking up a cat because cats like to roam. That's what they do. But a kitten, I would be calling everywhere. Like I would be calling everywhere. I yeah, I don't think there's a problem with this one. This isn't where you've agreed to keep the kitten for somebody else. Like you've said, okay, I'll take care of your kitten. This is completely different. This is the kitten ended up in a shelter because and nobody claimed it. You know, that's a problem. That's a real problem. I'll upvote it. And I will put the poll out before I forget. I won't forget. What are you talking about? I've never forgotten a poll in my life. Never in my life have I forgotten to do my job. How dare you? How dare you? I know you were thinking it. I mean, you might not have said it. I know you're thinking it. Just steady on there. Just while I'm doing this as well, if you are a member, I do have the member stream tomorrow, I believe. I didn't have one last week, so the member streams happen every 2 weeks, so fortnightly, on Wednesday night Eastern time or Thursday morning, you know, real time, real person's time from the real end of the planet. Look, sometimes I'm not even sure Australia is real, quite frankly. But you know, that's what will be happening. You are more than welcome, encouraged, nay, begged to join if you are a channel member. It will be great. I'll just be hanging out, talking to people, taking questions, playing games, just chilling out. It's a chill session that's for the members, the true believers in the reading experience. Was the poster right for keeping the kitty? Yes, that's how you spell kitty. Oh, hi, Tori. So good to see you. Hello, Tori. Hello, hello. Today is Pet Day here on AIMBOT. We are discussing exclusively who should keep pets, apparently. Look, honestly, I don't curate these. I don't select them in advance. They just pop up, okay? This is all just organically the zeitgeist of humanity has created this organic pet fest that we're currently sitting in. Anyway, let's see how what the Redditors are saying. No, not the arsehole. The chip wasn't chipped. There's no documentation on proving she owned the cat. Block her and move. Yeah, it kind of is. She wasn't chipped. She wasn't spayed. She wasn't really taken care of at all is more my thing. But yeah, I mean, legally you're fine. I think morally you're fine as well. Not the arsehole. I'd be completely uncomfortable if someone found my information like that and tried to convince me to give them back my kitten. I adopted an abandoned kitten in 2023. I'd block her. You adopted that kitten, followed the procedures. If she had had that kitten previously, she clearly didn't look hard enough as you found her in a shelter. Yeah, if my cat got out the first places, I'd be looking at shelters. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, that is exactly what happens. Like somebody finds a cat, they're scared, you know, they will basically try to find the owner, ring a shelter, get the shelter to take them, because everyone knows that's where they'll be going. You know, it happens. Look, if he just found the kitten on the street and kept it, that's one thing, right? Then I'd say that maybe you should give it. But if, you know, going to a shelter, no. They don't just you know, give out them willy-nilly. They are there for a while. And, you know, he's doing the right thing. It's a cat that needs a home. He's doing the right thing. He's doing the moral thing. Absolutely not the arsehole. The kit wasn't chipped. It was left out on the street. No way the kitten was trying to find her, and who knows if it's the same kitten. And that was something that crossed my mind. But, you know, I don't know why somebody would fake a picture of a kitten in order. If they've got a kitten, they don't need another kitten. So I don't know why they'd fake that, quite frankly. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. I don't know. Settle Down Best says, in my area, we have a 7-day stray hold to allow owners the opportunity to keep that. Yes, and that's something the shelters will do. They will, like I said, they don't just hand them out willy-nilly. They'll have a time frame for allowing people to try and find them. They all do that because they understand there might be a family desperately looking for them, and that's the best way to get the kitten taken care of is if their family gets them. That's a win for everybody. But, you know, obviously they didn't do that. If they don't within that time frame, then the animal is up for adoption. As long as the shelter followed their standard processes for strays, the kitten is yours. Yeah, legally, yes. But I think morally, yes, as well. Why didn't she contact the shelter immediately to see if their kitten was picked up? When our cat escaped and went missing, I contacted every shelter in my area and provided pictures and info about him. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. They've got a picture of him. Send it to the shelters. They all posted the pics and info on their social media and kept an eye out for them in their intakes. He didn't even show up, but I would have been notified, even disregarding that he was chipped anyway. Right. Like, you know, their Facebook page obviously had nothing about this kitten being lost. Like, why weren't they putting it up there? Strange. Very creepy. Not the arsehole, the kitten wasn't chipped. There's no documentation for she owned the cat. Block her and move on. Right. Not the arsehole. Her situation is unfortunate, but you legally own the cat. Yeah, okay. So they're pretty much in agreement there, which is fair enough. Let's see. Stupidity says she didn't call shelters looking for a pet. Yeah, and that's weird. That's like the base level you would do, right? And you should be able to see if she's taken to social media or not. From what I think is she hasn't actually taken to social media saying, hey, I've lost my cat. Has anyone found it? It doesn't seem like a big effort to get it back. Were they just expecting a kitten to find its way back? How old is this kitten? Like, yes, cats find their way back. I get that. 6-month-old kitten. Yeah, no, kittens don't find their way back. Like, that's something that cats do, not kittens. It's probably too young to find its way back. Ugh. I'm guessing the kitten wasn't chipped. Well, no. If you had to put a chip in a kitten, it's not chipped. Because if it was, they would have just contacted the owners, because that's what the chip is. It's just a simple scannable device that, you know, just a storage, like a credit card storage, that just keeps the ownership information of the owner of the kitten. That's all it is. So they would have contacted them. Yeah, shelters are the last place you look. Stop stupidity. Absolutely. That's silly. I don't know who would have a lost pet and said, oh, we expected it to return to us. A 6-month-old kitten. Yeah, right, mate. Sounds dodgy. I'm gonna put a sus in the chat for that one. I'm gonna put a big old sus in the chat for that. Oh, I gotta see if I've got more emojis as well. That's what I gotta do. I gotta remind myself. She should keep the kitten since the other person allowed the kitten to be let outside and to be bit by a dog. The kitten be in danger with its previous owner, not the arsehole. Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe. But there's sort of this blasé attitude of sort of, you know, the kitten tries to find me, so we expect it to come back. You know, that kind of blasé attitude for a kitten is pretty bad. You know, that's pretty, it's pretty unrealistic to, you know, it'd be like saying, hey, you know, my baby, I've lost my baby, but I expect it to come back to me somehow. You know, like, it's a kitten. It's not a full-grown cat. Majestic Beck says, you are barely a figment of our collective worldview. Yeah, look, I'll admit to that. I'll admit to that. It turned out to be a catastrophe, but love it. Chips are the mark of the beast. Yeah, and that's something, like, you know, the weirdest thing about that, is that they're going, oh, it'll be in your hand or your forehead. It's like, why? Why put it in your forehead? That's so weird. I don't think these ancient religion knew how chipping works, quite frankly. Tori says, most places do a 3 to 5 day hold on strays just in case someone is looking for them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, hi, Bree. Good to see you. Really good to see you. Bree, friend of the channel, all-round awesome human being. We are looking at having you on after Leo for debate dissection or our debate review show, Ember and I. So we have discussed it, and we will keep in contact with you sweetie. So just keep an eye out for that. But the Bree Bee is in the hive. Woot, 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 woot. Well, apparently it's all pets all day today. I might do another one. And anyone's welcome to join, by the way. I do have the join link. I did pin it. Don't lie to me. Poll says poster is awesome. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Next one. I'll make this the last one. I do apologize. I just this will be a bit of a shorter show because I didn't have the I didn't really have anything to rant about at the start. Like, I really didn't. Following up Leo on a debate review is like following Bill Burr on a comedy tour. No, it isn't. Come on now. Well, usually in our debate reviews, Ember and I have, like, we have some guidelines that we follow. One of them is that we don't really have guests unless they're in the debate, right? So Leo's talking about doing one of his debates. But you know, you wanted to look at a debate in the review show, so we think that we're going, maybe we'll allow other creators that we really like, see how it goes. So we want to try that and see what it's like and everything like that. So it is a bit different because Leo will be commenting on his own debate, whereas you've just selected one. So it is a bit different. We're gonna give it a try and see what happens. But yeah, it should be fun either way, and you know, I'm looking forward to it. But Leo definitely did ask to do one of his, so we're doing them in order. We're doing them one at a time and getting through them. And this week, the debate show will be on my channel. Keep an eye, ring the bell, because you will get notifications when that debate review that I call Debate Dissection is coming up. We'll be doing the second part of the autopsy of Godless Engineer versus Joel Setter case, and that will be our 100th episode, apparently, according to Ember, which is just incredible. Yeah, potholers, right. So yeah. Usually we only do like, we'll review a debate, like one of Leo's debates, and have him on. But you know, I mean, it's Bree, and we love you, so you know, we're gonna do that and see how it goes. What was I saying? Oh yes, 100th episode this week, coming up on Saturday night Eastern time and Sunday in real person's time, where the real people are. Yeah, 100. It's been crazy. I if you asked me how many we've done, I'd probably say, about how many episodes? Probably about 60 or so. You know, it really doesn't feel like 100. You know, it really doesn't. Yeah, but it'll be within a few weeks because we've got to get John's finished, then do Leo's debate, and then yours. But don't worry, I'll keep you updated, Bree. I definitely will keep you updated. That's not a problem, and neither is a problem is our last one. Yeah, 100, Jess. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's awesome. Look, that is something that is just, you know, I did really early on with Ember, and it's been just fantastic ever since. It's been absolutely fantastic. But Froggy Pop 5, who's also fantastic. Am I the arsehole for telling the yearbook editor I'm not wearing the funny slogan t-shirt at the club photo? No. I think you should wear whatever you want. I think you know, as long as it's within dress code of the school, you should be able to wear whatever you want. Express yourself. Don't, you know, I don't know, this whole thing of dress code and stuff. And yes, I've been in dress code with companies and things, right? I think that dress code for companies, I think, you know, it used to be, oh, don't get tattoos because you won't be able to find a job. No one cares anymore, right? No one cares. Everybody just cares about how good a job you can do. No one cares about that kind of stuff. Nobody really cares about, you know, you might have to wear a tie, you might have to wear a business outfit, you might have to wear a company shirt. But apart from that, that's it. And they're paying you to do that. No one's paying you at school. So I would say, you know, get stuffed, quite frankly. I don't think you're the arsehole at all. I think you're totally fine. Like, if you want to stand out in the crowd, so be it. I don't care. And what's the slogan anyway? That's what I'm asking. But I don't think anybody should be made to wear something that they don't feel comfortable wearing. And yes, that may limit your opportunities. Like, for instance, if you want to, a muscle tee or something, you might not be able to get certain jobs. But I don't think it should be forced to do that. Apart from public decency, that's about it. Am I the arsehole for telling the yearbook editor I'm not wearing the funny t-shirt slogan in the club photo? Okay. I, 20 female, I'm in a campus club. So this is university or college, I would presume. About 15 members that's getting group photos for the yearbook. A couple of weeks ago, the yearbook editor circulated a design for the club tee they'd like everyone to wear in the official photo. Yeah, they'd like everyone to wear it. You can't always get what you want. I'm probably going to be copyright for that. Look, YouTube's going crazy on copyright. I'm probably going to be struck for that one too, like seriously. The shirt is meant to be funny. The slogan reads, "We put the pro in procrastination," with a big playful graphic. We put the pro... What club is this? Is this debate club maybe? Pro in procrastination. The editor and some members think it's light-hearted and acute memories of fine and weak chaos. Okay. I didn't want to wear it. My reasons are practical and personal. I take my academics and future job applications seriously, and I don't want a yearbook photo that could be misread by future employers or internship recruiters as me bragging about poor work habits. Fair? That's fair. I also have spent the past year trying to change my reputation as a chronic procrastinator, and wearing that slogan would feel like I'm doing that. Also fair. Yes. If you've had a big problem with procrastination, especially if you've got ADHD or something, as somebody that does, I probably would find it funny and I wouldn't care, but I could understand if someone with ADHD would go, yeah, to me it's not funny. Totally understand. Totally understand. I offered alternatives. I said I'd wear a plain shirt in the club's colour, wear the club's badge or pin instead, or take a small individual headshot that could be used in the yearbook member list if they wanted uniformity in there. Yeah, I think that's totally acceptable of, things. The yearbook editor pushed back and said the photo needs everyone in the same shirt to look cohesive. No, it doesn't. Get out of here, man. Like, seriously. They argued that it's just a joke and I was a party pooper. Other members privately thanked me for bringing up the professional angle and said that they also feel weird wearing it, but they didn't say anything publicly. Yeah, that's a shame. So it sounds like the editors are not conducive to feedback. Like, if you're afraid of sort of bringing up that, hey, you don't want to do this thing, then whoever you're working for, whoever is in charge is not receptive. You shouldn't be afraid to be able to say that. Have I drink? Well, yeah, but I drink coffee. Look, I had a couple of day break, Beck. I managed to get away for a couple of days, mate. That's probably why. So it was Father's Day recently in Australia. So we went down south to the lovely southwest of Australia, which is just gorgeous after rains because it's all green and beautiful. And we saw my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, who, look, in their defense, they baked some really nice fruitcake and shortbread. They're English. They're very English. So shortbread and fruitcake and, being able to relax and stuff was very nice. So I feel chipper because I've had a bit of a break from stuff and been able to, just unwind. Just unwind, my friend. Have some chat with the family. Well, not my family technically. It's Lynn's family, but just be able to get away. Reading my book. I've been reading. I managed to read God's Propaganda down south. It's good. It was good. It was relaxing, and that's probably why I'm chipper, because I haven't been constantly doing stuff. It helps. It does help. I touched grass. I went out and touched grass, okay? You proud? Are you all proud, okay? I touched grass. Mark touched grass, okay? Everybody celebrate. The editor ultimately said I could either wear the shirt or they'd have to photograph the club twice. Oh, come on now. Just let the people who want to wear it, and let the people who don't wear the club colours. Who cares? Seriously, just... Okay, so this is an editor, right? So I presume their editor's a student as well. And they've got in their head this, oh, everyone's wearing the shirt. It's not that great big a deal. Just frigging relax, my guy. Just seriously. Seriously. Seriously, I just relax. Which they didn't want to do because of limited yearbook time. I stood my ground and told them I wouldn't wear the slogan shirt in the official club photo. I still agreed to the club photo if I could wear a plain shirt in the club colour or be photographed separately for the member roster. There you go. That is boundaries. There you go. Boundaries. The editor said my refusal makes planning harder and that I'm making the club look disunited. Oh, get stuffed, dude. Seriously. Don't do that. You know, oh, because you won't do what I want to do, you're making us look disunited. That's exactly what these politicians and stuff do, right? Like, they basically go, well, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, it's making us look disunited. No. Just because we don't agree on, you know, what shirt to wear or a certain policy or something, doesn't mean the entire thing's disunited. You know, we can agree on stuff and still be a united front on others. Wow. I also don't want to picture that unminds. So am I the asshole? No, absolutely not. You're compromising. He's not, right? He's not compromising. You know, like you've offered a compromise and he's not compromising at all. Okay? No. Look, he may have a vision of what these photos look like. You don't have to. You do not have to accommodate his vision. If he has a problem with his vision not coming true, it's his problem. Like, he's got a problem, not you. You know, when you joined the club and did this stuff for the club, you never agreed to be photographed in a certain shirt. Like, come on now. Yeah, and it's this whole thing of, oh, well, you know, if you don't get on board. Look, I understand corporate culture. I think that corporate culture is good. Like, it can help with teamwork and things, but there's a certain point. If you're sacrificing your boundaries in the name of corporate culture, there's a problem there because you will end up resenting the company. It's good to sort of, you know, go outside your zone of comfort, but if there's a really good reason, and this isn't arbitrary, like I just don't like the shirt. That is not the reason here. It is something that she is very is it a she? I think it's a she. She's very uncomfortable. Yeah, she's very uncomfortable with. Don't make her wear your stupid shirt. Seriously. Ugh. 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 All right. Poll time. Poll time. Get ready, you little readers. Oh, that doesn't have an exclamation mark after it. Okay. Yeah, so I've been involved a lot. Like, my background has been in companies and corporate settings. You know, usually you do try to accommodate what the company's trying to do. But if it is one of those boundaries, you just can't. You know, like, you have to say, hey, that's where my boundary lies. Corporate culture is all very well and good, but no, I can't do that. Like, for instance, you know, companies will often expect people to, you know, go out after work for drinks kind of thing. But if you don't drink or you don't feel comfortable there, or, you know, you're a recovering alcoholic, for instance, no, absolutely not. You can't just sacrifice your boundaries for the corporate culture. I think making it clear why you can't do that and that you're still on board with the company, I don't think anyone will really care. But it may have an effect that you're not considered, you know, part of that team. Like, you're not a team player kind of thing. So it is good to try and accommodate them. But having said that, you know, it is what it is. You have to make that decision yourself, whether it is worth it. But they can't just say, hey, you have to do this because it's part of teamwork, or it makes us look good, or it's part of the corporate, you know, structure that we have here. No. was the poster right for t-shirt refusal? And where do you draw the line? You know, if they agreed to have a wet t-shirt photo at the end, is that across the line? Because that very much is kind of thing. Look, I think as long as you are presentable and, you know, have the team colors on, you should be fine. Like, can I just, and I will say, she never agreed to wear a uniform in this club. You know, it's not cool. It's not cool. You can't just expect them to do that. Let's see. What have the Redditors got to say? You're not an asshole for not wanting to wear it, but if you think potential employers are going to look at yearbook photos, then you're a bit deluded. You'd be surprised, actually. You'd be surprised. I mean, what if she is considering a political career or something? I don't know. I don't know what the club's for. No one on earth is going to look at your yearbook picture for employment unless you bring it with them to show you in an interview. Well, that is true. That is true. Yeah. I mean, not the arsehole, but this is kind of insane. No employer is going to look at your yearbook, and if they did, they'd likely chuckle at the shirt. You've written nothing, OP. You've written literally nothing. You've written nothing. Well, it's not common. It does happen. Yeah. Yeah. I think that depending on what you're involved with, like I can imagine that, you know, when someone's involved in a political career, they literally go through everything in their history. I mean, look what happened to Justin Trudeau. Yeah, exactly. That was exactly my thing. Yes. Yeah, that photo was from a yearbook, right? Like it's actually incredible what will come back to haunt you. But, you know, she might very well be looking at going into some sort of political area. You know, like it is a thing. You're the arsehole. It's a t-shirt and your future employers ain't going to look at your yearbook. They may. They might. Just saying. You're the arsehole. Your concerns are silly and unnecessarily making the yearbook editor's job harder. If the other members of your club don't want to wear the shirt, you should have a united front. Rather than taking a dim view of you wearing the shirt in the picture would show potential employees that should they happen to see it that you're part of a club and a team player. Well, that wasn't the only reason. The other reason is that she had a procrastination problem and she felt uncomfortable that it was making light of an actual problem that she has. So that was the other reason. And I don't think she needs to explain her boundaries. She has explained it, but I don't think she has to. You know, there's another reason that she doesn't find procrastination to be funny because she's really struggled with it. I'm not going to judge her for that. I'm not going to say, hey, you're not allowed to feel that way. Who am I to say that? If you'd rather skip the picture, do so. What you've done is make the editor's job harder trying to accommodate you. No, his job isn't harder. He can just say, hey, we'll wear this shirt if you want. It'll be funny. And let the people choose. Damn. Controversial. Everyone sucks here. I think you're overthinking what employees are going to look at. It's one thing if you got tagged an embarrassing or offensive photo online, but this is a yearbook. No one outside of your college will likely ever look at it, and employers would never do such a deep dive to find a college yearbook you were in. Yeah, but if you're in politics, they will. By not wearing the t-shirt, you're a slight arsehole by not being able to put your own pride aside for the fun of the group. Yeah, I don't. You know, if you're uncomfortable with the fun that they're having, should you have to participate in it? This is basically people going, hey, submit to peer pressure. Be part of the group. You know, you shouldn't submit to peer pressure. If you're uncomfortable with something and the only reason you're considering doing it is because other people are pressuring you, to me, that, you know, I'm a bit strange. When I feel peer pressure, I feel a compulsion to put it back on it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this because everybody wants me to. Maybe I make my life harder, sure. But then again, I'm not uncomfortable doing things that I don't want to do. maybe that's a win, maybe it's a loss. It's what I do. So yeah, I don't feel the need to do, basically that to me, putting your own pride aside. And I don't know that it's pride, like I think it's just discomfort is a better word to use there, aside for the fun of the group. That is literally peer pressure, Besides, it's a college club. Have fun. You don't need to be professional every waking second. Maybe that is a good comment. You're allowed to have fun in college. You're not in a professional setting, really. As long as you're not hurting anybody, have some fun. The editor is an arsehole for not respecting your boundaries when you said you didn't want to wear the shirt. They should have come up with a different shirt idea if you weren't comfortable with it or agree to one of your compromises. Yeah, they can compromise. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you're entitled to your concerns, but we put the pro and procrastination is about the least funny thing someone could have on a shirt. Yeah, I don't think it's the least, but yeah. Yeah. You know what? There's been some times where I have really pushed back on a group idea, and I am thankful in doing so, right? Like, so I remember one company wanted to do the Harlem Shake, okay? And I said, no, I don't think we should do this. I don't see the point, kind of thing. But there was one young girl who was adamant that we should all, like our team in the company, should do the Harlem Shake kind of thing. And it's like, nah, I'm not paid to do this. I'm happy to go along with it, but no. I'm so glad that was never done. I'll say that right now. I will say that right now. And does anyone remember the Harlem Shake? That was a thing. That was definitely a thing. I literally got hired after. I also think when it comes to employment, working well with others can be very important in employment. Yes, it can be. Absolutely. Yes, it can be. Teamwork is very important when you go to employers. Yes, it absolutely is. But I don't know. We don't know what field she was in, so we don't know whether teamwork was actually that important. Like, there are some jobs where teamwork is incredibly important. A lot of them. There's a few jobs where it isn't so important, and more networking is important than teamwork. They are two totally separate things. I literally got hired after my interview because my future member told a team member about it, and the team member with whom I'd previously worked says, "Oh no, she's good, get her." And making yourself come across as annoying, picky, buzzkill to colleagues will probably bite you in the ass more than this slogan ever will. Possibly, but it depends where your boundaries are. Look, a lot of our boundaries, they come with negatives. If you don't want to do that, that's a boundary. The important thing is that you get to decide the consequences of that. You get to choose what that is. If you want to come across as annoying, picky, and buzzkill, that's up to you. This problem is that people are like, well, if you don't do this, then you'll never, and that isn't true, right? Like, there's just pluses and minuses to everything. If you're not comfortable doing something, then you're not comfortable doing it. And if you accept the consequences of, hey, well, they might think that you're not, one of the crowd, then that's okay too. We got to stop doing this, that everyone's got to be the same. Everyone's got to be the person that comes in and then goes out to the setting kind of thing. People have different ways of adjusting to things. And what good managers do is they adjust their management style to the people working under them, right? That's what they do. They will allow people to be themselves and then use their abilities in a way that's very helpful for the entirety. A bad manager will just expect everyone to adapt to their style. They've got a style, do this, violate those boundaries, work in this kind of way. That's bad management. Because that person will never give the same performance requiring to work under such strict conditions as they will when you say, okay, so how do I manage this person while letting them excel in the way that they do things, in the way that they organize things, in the way that they address work. That's what a good manager will do. But, obviously this editor sucks. Did you just leave? What is with all the non-comments? Did you just, kill all of your comments? Yeah, probably never will, but at the same time, she's entitled. So I think not the answer. I think she's entitled to not wear a shirt that she doesn't like. I honestly do. I honestly do. But you may disagree. Does anyone disagree? Oh, thanks, Tori. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It wasn't really taking care of myself. I guess it was, Lynn wanted to see her dad and I was happy to get away. So yeah, but again, I apologize. This wasn't that well done out as usual. It wasn't. I didn't have much to do at the start, but yeah. For those who aren't at work, yes, and I hope you're not working too hard, Jess, because I've seen your back rooms, and boy, somebody needs to learn how to pack stuff. Look, I'd be terrible at it myself. That's the thing. Holly says, as someone who doesn't wear t-shirts, do whatever you want. Yeah, right. I mean, some people don't like t-shirts. Sure. It's just a joke, but several people don't find it funny. Right. And Holly goes on to say, maybe the editor shouldn't have made everyone t-shirts without input. Yeah, that would have been really good. And, sort of having, we used to call it a huddle. I don't know what you guys called it. It's basically where you have these improv meetings, just having everybody around to say, hey, this is the design, check it out, give me some feedback on it, tell me if you like it or not. Get some suggestions from people to alter it. Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like the editor's just going on to do these things he finds funny and then everybody just accept it. It's a really bad way to do things, right? It's not bad to make, strong decisions as a manager, but what it is you want to do that after listening to people, right? You want to listen to people, see what they've got to say. If you have to say, hey, no, I'm the manager here, this is how it's going to be, that's fine. But you want people to know that you've at least listened to them and take on board their feedback. I don't know. Being an editor in a yearbook, it's supposed to be teaching you those management skills, and one of them is don't lay down if things don't really matter, right? If it's just for present, don't make people resent you. If it's small, let it go. If it doesn't really affect the outcome, let it go. Because if you be picky and sort of go, well, everybody's got to, because it's not according to your vision, the people, they're just going to resent the hell out of you. If it's important, absolutely be stringent. If it's not, don't sweat the small stuff, because people will resent you for being one of those micromanagers, right? Oh, he made me put my chair up a half inch because it was, ergonomics. And so it's just like, dude, just let it go. Right. I'll give you an example. Right. Somebody once called up and they basically had, and this was really early on, they basically had, it was a paper, like we were trying to, stop people from getting paper invoices, right? So we had a surcharge for paper invoices to try and encourage them to go to email. So, save paper, save the environment, save trees, etc. So somebody had called up and said, hey, I got this surcharge and, I didn't even know I had paper invoices. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll refund the last few of them kind of thing, not a problem. And a manager actually went to me and said, that was $10 that you, and I'm like, so? And he's like, but that was a valid charge. And I'm like, I don't care. Like that's not important. Which is better, getting like $10 out of a customer or having that customer have a good opinion of your company? Because I'll tell you what, word of mouth through customers is worth way more than just a tiny bit of money. Like it just, like to have him go, oh, well, you'll just give it. No, dude, relax. The guy didn't even know. It's not a charge to punish people. It's a charge to encourage them. And he's more than happy to go on email. Screw it. But, that's micromanagement. It's like, well, I don't agree with what you're doing. I'm going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. Don't do that if you're a manager. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just let it go. Just let it go. It doesn't matter. I've had some, early on in my corporate career, I had some run-ins with managers, definitely. I will admit that, I touched grass? Yeah. You smoked it? Yeah, well, that's illegal here, Beck. It's still illegal here, which is wild. If you're not with us, you're against us. Yeah, that all or nothing thing, absolutely. It's not helpful. It really isn't. I mean, the US, that's essentially, it used to be the US's foreign policy, during the Iraq War. You're either with us or against us, which was horrible to hear. Oh, thanks, Tori. Thank you. Yeah. It's also not a big deal if people aren't matching. Absolutely. Absolutely it's not. I don't get the problem. It's always been our differences which made us stronger. Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Empire, of the Starship Enterprise. I'm losing my speaking. I've been speaking so much. Yeah, it's always differences. Look, if you've spoken to somebody in management, the worst thing you can do, like, it's really interesting because you have people that are very, very sort of highly intellectual, right? They're very good at thinking through possibilities. And you have other people that are really good at practical implementation. The worst thing you can have is a team all made of people that think alike, right? You want a whole wide variety of people that think very differently, because some will be really good at coming up with solutions, not very good at implementing them. Other people would be good at implementing them, not so good at coming up with them. So it is exactly that, Spielcab. Exactly that. Jean-Luc Picard knew what he was talking about. You'll end up resenting the company, something intrinsic to any hiring process. Absolutely. Yeah, mate. That's why you don't lie to people you're hiring, because they will resent your company, Tell them the truth. Tell them honestly what they can expect to have. I always have questions when I'm being interviewed for a job about the company, okay, so if you're looking for a job and you need hiring company-wise, right? If I'm going for companies, there's a few bits of information I will always look up and I will always know going in there. Number one, who's the CEO? Who is the CEO of the company? Right, that is the person that is captaining where the company is going. You need to know who the CEO is and a bit of their background, right? That's vitally important. Number two, who the hirer thinks, like where they think the company is going in terms of their market position, in terms of their strategic maneuvering, where the company is going and how they're getting there. Right? Like, so what are they needing to implement in order to achieve success in the next quarter or next 6 months or whatever, right? Like, that's something you need to know. And you can sort of frame it as, hey, the CEO, this is what they have in store. Number three, what's the environment like that you're going to be working in? And I always ask this question, like, could you, if it had a personality, how would you, like, every workplace that anybody has ever been in has its own kind of personality. Some are nurturing, some are competitive, some are, like a family, some are not, right? Some are highly professional, some are geeky, some are joking, some, like, there's all these different types of workplace environments that people work in. And knowing what the environment is like is critically important, because you should be going into an interview with not only the idea that you want a job from them, but they also want you. Okay, whatever you're bringing, you have to believe it will be an advantage for them to have you working there. So making sure that you will fit in there and be happy there is really important. Okay, it is really important. So, you want to ask about their company. You want to ask how it feels to work. You want to ask, do people go on to higher positions in the company? You want to ask, what's in it for you? Because what that will signify is that you think that your skills are worth something, right? It's not just, oh, please give me a job because I need a job and you would be so kind as to give it. No, that's not what's happening here. It is that you have something to give, you have something of benefit to them, and that you want to make sure that they have something of benefit to you, not just paycheck after paycheck. And I know it sounds counterproductive, but that is the way that you sort of show them that you're worth it, because you're not just going, oh, I'll take anything you give. To them, that signifies, well, they're willing to take anything they can't be worth. But if you're going, look, I need to know that this is actually worth something to me because I am worth something to you, that's the way you convince them that you're worth something. It's counterintuitive. Has never failed me. And that's just my opinion, okay? I get that. I'm not a life coach or anything, but that's just my opinion from going for various jobs and rarely not getting the job. Very rarely. It's more to me, finding a job is more, or a job interview rather. I shouldn't be saying finding a job because that's different, but the job interview is more a sort of a discussion of how you benefit one another. Because that's all they're interested in, right? All of this moral character, all of this fiber, all of this stuff, they're not in, they're what they want to know is how you will benefit their company's bottom line. That's it, okay? That's all they're interested in, is how you will benefit their company, make the most profit. They're not looking for good people. They're not looking for, the most intelligent. They're not looking for anything except how you benefit them. Yes, Beck, and that's what you should be doing. You should be doing that, yes. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, I did get lost. I did get lost. Differences made stronger. Yep. My whole grad class wore all white tuxedos. I wore black with my fuchsia accessories. Yeah. And here's the thing, Beck. If you rock up on the day not wearing the thing, how are they going to stop you? Seriously. I have lots of personal news updates, but I'll save them tomorrow. Yeah, no problem. No problem. And if you do feel like coming on, Jess, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. I would love to see you there. Or you get kicked out of the club for heckling? Who's heckling in a strip club? Damn. How do you heckle in a strip club? Your pole dancing sucks. Come on now. Be respectful. If you can't pole dance as well as a stripper, you've got no right to comment, quite frankly. No, UGT, I gotcha. No, I gotcha. That's all right, mate. It's good to see you. Really good to see you. And yes, absolutely, that was from a yearbook. And that's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah. Yep. That bit him in the ass so hard. Holly says the editor is making their job harder by adding additional requirements at short notice and not willing to compromise. Yeah, absolutely. I would say SMN. I don't know what that means. I don't... Show more nipple? I don't know what that means. Survival motor neuron? Simple message notification. Suck my nipples? I really have no idea what that means. The poster should do what they think is right for themselves. Yeah. I mean, that's what decisions is. All throughout life, we're going to make decisions. They'll have benefits. They'll have consequences. Look, do what you think is right. That's okay. Just be prepared to accept the consequences. Like, people think you're not a team player. Yeah, that might be the consequences. Is that a US school thing? But if there was a club t-shirt, why would the yearbook editor hand it out and not the club president? I have no idea. Unless they didn't say what the club was, so maybe the club was the yearbook, do they have a yearbook club? I don't know. Okay, I wasn't part of any clubs in university or school kind of thing. So, yeah. UGT also says, giving a customer to stay with you for 10 more years should be more important than milk him $10 and have him cancel service. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. Freedom Fries was a fucking stupid name change. Oh, absolutely. Like, that's the thing. Like, as much as the right wing of America complain about cancel culture, they do it all the time. You know, I remember Sean Penn, I think it was. Sean Penn spoke out against the war in Iraq, and he was cancelled by them, right? They said, do not go to his movies, do not see his stuff, tell people, you know, that he sucked. He was absolutely cancelled by the right for not supporting the war in Iraq. And as it turns out, he had a way better view of it than most people did, because they had nothing to do with 9/11. Oh, suck my nuts. Oh, well, that makes sense. That makes more sense. Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, I mean, it makes about the same sense. But that's the last one, so I will tie up there. But yeah, I mean, don't forget that, you know, cultures are different. Places are different. That's what's worked for me. But, you know, I'm not an expert on it. I'm just a guy giving my opinion. So, you know, but, you know, when you do, if you are looking for a job or you're seeking a job, listen to the people who are out there, you know, assisting job seekers. It's its own thing, and people have experience with it. So, but I think you're really undermining yourself by selling yourself short. I think that a lot of people are sort of like, well, I mean, I'm just a worker. I don't bring in anything. You know, companies need us a lot more than we need them. Let me give you the tip right now. It is on the backs of workers that companies really make their money. Sean Bean, yeah, die in the next 15 rolls. Yeah, I know. He's, you know what? I think it's just because he's such a likable guy that it always impacts you when he dies. You know, it always impacts you when he dies. Such a likable guy. Sean Bean's cool. I like him. Actually, I saw the interview by Lynn was watching. It was like Vogue with Nicole Kidman. She is a delight. Like, I don't know why Nicole Kidman got so much flack. She's a delightful person. She's very, very nice. I think that Tom Cruise did not deserve that woman, quite frankly. He did not deserve her. Like, what the hell? She's really nice, down to earth, very grounded, you know. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's AIMBOT. Can we just take a second to acknowledge that Netanyahu sucks, and he should be arrested as soon as he enters a country with a, like, you know, he sucks. He sucks. Yeah, some people are just really good. Yep. But I mean, I think that yeah, he dramatically he's really good at it. But yeah, I thank you all for coming. Don't forget, tomorrow it is the member stream, so that's members only. Apologies to the other people, but that's just the way it is. If you do want a readership, memberships are available, so go and grab it if you do want. I do have some memberships to give out, but I might save it for Friday or Thursday night Eastern Time is Fundamentalist Fails. I'll have another video for you. And this week there will be, and keep the bell rung from it, like, subscribe, ring the bell, because it will be out soon, which is the second part of the debate dissection, where we're going to be talking to Godless Engineer about his performance. He was kind of concerned and wanted feedback. I think he's done fine. A couple of nitpicks here and there, but overall, really, really good. We'll have to see what happens when we get into the second rebuttals and the open discussion. But some of his arguments really good, really precise, really well thought out. I don't have a problem with it at all. Very, very good. Yeah, correct. Ugly Geometry's correct. And, you know, I think it's a real shame, because I think she's really, really good. I think Nicole Kidman is an amazing actress. I think it's a real shame, sort of left out in the lurch. But, you know, what can I say? Anyway, Yahoo really sucks. Okay. Yeah. No, I got you. Well, do take care. Don't forget to be kind to yourself. Have those boundaries. Don't step over them because others expect them to. If you can accommodate others, that's great. Be kind to each other and accommodate others. If you can't, that's okay too. You know, if you explain your boundaries, you don't have to, but having people understand can be helpful. But just say, hey, that is a boundary I'm not prepared to cross. What can we do otherwise? Be prepared to compromise in other ways. Very helpful, and you won't end up resenting that person for making you do something you don't want to do. Anyway, take care, lots of love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.